If you think you've seen it all in football, just wait until you hear what happened in the match between Osasuna and Real Madrid. Seriously, this was one of the biggest embarrassments ever. There was referee controversy, a ridiculous red card, a blatant penalty that wasn't given, and a behind-the-scenes detail in the tunnel that nobody told you about. Vinicius Jr was in shock, Ancelotti lost his patience, and Bellingham walked off the pitch completely baffled. What went down in this game was simply unbelievable, and I'm going to break it all down for you. But first, subscribe to the channel and drop a like. The goal for this video is 500 likes. Now, let's get into the news. The match started with tension in the air, but no one could have predicted what was coming. From the opening minutes, it was clear that the refereeing was, at the very least, questionable. And the first major outrage of the night happened early on, a crystal-clear penalty on Vinicius Jr that was completely ignored. The Brazilian received the ball in the box, left his defender on the ground with a brilliant move, and instead of continuing the play, he threw his arms up demanding a penalty because the defender handled the ball. And what did the referee do? Wave play on. Believe it or not, that was just the beginning. What followed was one of the most shocking moments of the match, Jude Bellingham's red card. The Englishman, already frustrated with some bizarre referee decisions, went to complain, and out of nowhere, straight red. The weirdest part? The referee's expression when showing the card. The cameras caught his face, and it seemed like he had already made up his mind to send Bellingham off before the incident even happened. And just a reminder, this same referee had previous run-ins with Real Madrid's number 5 in past matches. And of course, Ancelotti was furious. The usually calm Italian coach lost his composure, protesting non-stop. He watched his team being systematically disadvantaged and simply couldn't believe what was happening. Real Madrid tried to fight back, but it seemed like the referee had other plans. To make matters worse, Osasuna was awarded a penalty that even their own players looked surprised by. And here's the kicker, things got even uglier behind the scenes. In the tunnel, heated arguments broke out between Real Madrid players and the refereeing team. Vinicius Jr was particularly livid, gesturing furiously and making it clear how outraged he was by what had happened on the pitch. But hold on, because there's even more that went unnoticed in this bizarre match. If the first half was already a complete mess, the second half brought even more controversy. This is where Vinicius Jr showed why he's one of the most electrifying players in the world. After a tough first half, where even the Spanish media criticized him for asking for a penalty instead of taking the shot, Vini came back fired up in the second half. He started tearing Osasuna's defense apart, dribbling past defenders, making dangerous runs, and leaving the opposition clueless on how to stop him. At one point, he drew in 3 defenders and still managed to find a perfect pass to Modric, who unfortunately missed a golden chance. But the reality was that no matter what Real Madrid did, the outcome already seemed decided. And not by football, but by the officiating. The penalty called against Camavinga was the cherry on top of this scandal. The Frenchman suffered a minor step on his foot, something that usually goes unnoticed, but for some reason, this time the referee decided it was a foul. Ancelotti, completely exasperated at this point, could only laugh nervously on the bench. And how did the team react? Well, that's when things got even stranger. While players like Ceballos and Tchouaméni went to confront the referee after the game, the rest of the squad just seemed to accept what had happened. No big collective protests, no major outrage. That left a lot of fans frustrated. Madrid supporters expected the team to push back harder against this string of injustices. And speaking of frustration, Bellingham's reaction said it all. The Englishman left the pitch completely bewildered, and in the locker room, he was one of the most visibly angry players. On social media, Captain Carvajal was one of the few to speak out, stating that everything is rotten and that this kind of thing can't be tolerated anymore. Meanwhile, Vinicius Jr, one of the main targets on the field, finished the match with a mix of anger and irony. At times, he even smiled as if thinking, "Is this happening again?" The truth is, this game laid bare what has been happening to Real Madrid all season. And now, the big question, can Real Madrid overcome yet another scandal, or will refereeing continue to be their toughest opponent in the title race? Season after season, Los Blancos find themselves at the center of controversies that raise serious doubts about officiating fairness. This time, the mistakes seem to go beyond what's acceptable, sparking outrage among fans and pundits alike. The pressure on the federation is mounting, as the lack of transparency in decisions is damaging the credibility of the competition. Football, which should be decided on the pitch, appears increasingly influenced by external factors. Something clearly needs to change to prevent more injustices from ruining the spirit of the game. Now, let's hear from the player most affected by all this. Check out what Bellingham had to say. His words leave no doubt about how outraged he was by the referee's decision. The Englishman is known for his serious and professional demeanor, and in this case, his frustration is completely justified. In a raw and emotional interview, he laid out his perspective and made it clear that this was a huge mistake. For any top-level athlete, there's nothing more infuriating than being punished for something they didn't do, especially when that decision
directly impacts the team's performance. The frustration is real, and for a club as historic as Real Madrid, questionable officiating decisions like this only add to the sense of injustice. It's clear that the mistake was due to a misunderstanding. I remember everything very well, and besides, what is seen in the video does not match the official report. I don't want to go into detail about what was said, but it was an expression similar to Adam. It's difficult because when the referee isn't sure and claims he said something he didn't, it ends up hurting the team. I just want to clarify that my team must know I wasn't reckless enough to put them in that situation. If they are not involved, that means there is no issue. But, of course, by being part of this incident, it looks like there is. I hope the footage is reviewed and proves that what happened isn't what's in the report. If that's the case, I hope the federation takes it into account because the images are undeniable evidence. Obviously, we can't change the match result, but I hope that on it's reviewed, something changes, because what happened in Pamplona was a reality check for the club. Bellingham's statement further reinforces the squad's frustration with refereeing and fuels the debate about the need for a thorough review of decisions made on the pitch. This is not the first time a Real Madrid player has felt unfairly punished, and this incident only deepens the distrust in the system. VAR technology should be in place to prevent these types of controversies, yet instead, it often seems to add to the confusion. Are we dealing with mere incompetence from the referees, or is there something bigger at play? Madrid fans, known for their passion and big expectations, demand answers and concrete measures to prevent incidents like this from happening again. And now, I want to hear from you, the fans. What did you think of this match? Was Real Madrid truly wrong, or should the team have done more to avoid this situation? Football has always had room for human error, but when those mistakes become frequent and directly impact one of the world's biggest clubs, it's only natural for suspicion to grow. Are we facing a structural problem with Spanish refereeing, or is this just an unfortunate series of mistakes? Los blancos are not only fighting their opponents on the field but also battling decisions that often seem to favor certain interests. La Liga, 11 global benchmark, urgently needs to restore its credibility so that the spectacle isn't tarnished by avoidable errors. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss anything about the next chapters of this ongoing saga. Every match day brings new controversies, and the debate around refereeing has never been more heated. Will the Federation finally take action to prevent mistakes from continuing to influence match outcomes? Or will everything remain the same, with clubs having to overcome not just their rivals but also questionable refereeing decisions? The fans play a crucial role in this discussion, demanding transparency and reform so that Spanish football can once again set an example of fairness. Real Madrid has proven time and time again that it can overcome adversity, but how much longer can they withstand so many external challenges? Don't forget to drop your opinion in the comments below, because this debate is just getting started. We want to hear what you think about this situation and what steps should be taken to prevent other clubs from facing the same problem. Does the solution lie in a complete overhaul of the refereeing system? Should VAR be improved to ensure fairer decisions? Could pressure from fans and the media be a decisive factor in pushing for change? While these questions linger, Real Madrid continues its journey in the league, trying to stay focused despite the difficulties imposed. And if you think this is the last scandal involving Real Madrid, think again, there is more to come. This isn't the first time the club has been caught in refereeing controversies, and it certainly won't be the last. Now, we can only wait to see how the team reacts to yet another obstacle. Madridistas are used to challenges, but patience has its limits. Will the club's board take action to defend its interests? Or will we have to get used to a league where referees have as much impact as the players themselves? Stay tuned, because this saga is far from over.